How do we, potential college-bound high school students, cope with the challenges and the workload that adds to the pressures of our lives? How do we know who we are or what we genuinely want to do? There is no universal recipe for it, but I'll propose an idea/solution that could potentially cut through the fog and at least produce some answers. This year I've made more personal growth than I thought was possible at my 16, which is considered an age conducive enough for advancement. College prep, junior year in high school, APs, SATs, subject tests, the proverbial coming of age. The expectations were high anyway. What 10x the impact of my experience was a course in psychology. It is the safest way to explore emotions, your worries, your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your feelings, without having to go through proper psychology counseling sessions. Nothing wrong with the sessions. Yes, they may be stigmatized in some places. True, you may have trouble opening them to a person. Yes, sometimes parents are involved in it, unless you are making your own money at your tender age to support your therapist cost. But however, when psychology is part of your curriculum, things get so much easier. You dip into basic sciences and explore who you are. You're not judged or uncomfortable. You practice reflection that you have never done before. Learning more about behavior gave me real insights into people, including myself. This year, I also formed a new identity. I became a big brother I never had. Nikki, my brother, is a good kid, on most days. Don't get me wrong, he's hardworking, curious, and well, sometimes annoying. As always your brother should be. I always wanted to challenge him, and I always wanted to beat him at everything. From geography quizzes to chess, from tennis to Turkish ideas. I was not trying to be his mentor at all. This year he moved to American high school. Transition anxiety aside, he had to adapt to new curriculum, new subjects, and also to the new environment. Having learned Identity versus Role Confusion by Erik Erikson, I felt what he must have been going through. By time, I became less economizing in my advice and guidance, and our not-so-original sibling rivalry turned into a great collaboration, in which we can both benefit from each other. I like when Nikki challenges me, and I also like when I challenge Nikki, since we both develop. So we can come down to this, that knowledge of introductory psychology truly helps us navigate relationships. I want to appeal to everyone in high schools, and I want to ask them a question, administrators, educators, generally everyone, and also parents. If these years are the most formative years in our lives, if we have to overcome stress, anxiety, sometimes it's maybe even bullying, then would it not be able to teach us psychology? Why learn everything from the beginning? Why not benefit from the knowledge that exists? We never start math from when Greek started. We never start physics from when Newton started in the 1660s. We never see modern medicine resorting to bloodletting or some other medieval practices. So I want to introduce psychology courses to schools, which could potentially have a counselor who would potentially take classes and be giving classes. This would help scholars to communicate with audience and collaborate with audience. Also, it would help students, since their EQ score, their EQ's emotional quotient, would increase. And this would help them in their future lives and also in their emotional control. Our AP classes turned out to be an eye-opener for many of us. It was interesting, it was fun, it was informative, it was invigorating. Psychology classes made me realize that we do better when we work with concepts, trends, and sometimes the knowledge of experience. We rationalize fear and anxiety better. We become impervious to learned helplessness, bullying, and suicidal ideation. We feel empowered when we realize how much power we can have with our development. It also helps us to engage with our families at an age when many teens are shutting their parents out. So I know that you now feel that the costs may be high, but the costs inflicted from not pursuing this idea are much greater. Less empathy, more stigma for psychology counseling, less awareness of our own desires, poor judgment and decision making. Has anyone quantified the effects of this? To back the idea up, I created a survey in which 95% of students who took psychology courses said that they started to build relationships easier. 90% of parents felt that their children became much more better in academic and also in social life. I know my experiment does not match that of a mass experiment, but I intend to continue my research on it. I'm also aware that I'm biased, as I love the subject, my wonderful teacher, and the course itself, but the conclusions I arrived are intuitively supported by the vast majority of students in the study. Bias or no bias, the validity of my claim deserves to be looked at seriously. We could be even more ambitious about the whole idea. Who knows? We could even change the least valuable field, education. We could ensure greater clarity of purpose for students, better professionals, or better open-minded individuals who are comfortable in their skins, and most importantly, better human beings. Thank you.